Hey guys, what is up? It's your boys, Justin and Caleb again with Titans Tube. And for this podcast, we are going to review the Browns game. We're going to answer some questions that we got on Twitter. Thank you for posting those questions, those of you who did. And then possibly, if we have time, do a recap so far of the season, almost at the midway point, and kind of look at the schedule ahead and see what this team needs to do in order to reach the goals of... What are the goals?
Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl, yes.
Duh. Super Bowl is the only goal in the NFL.
Can we just start with playoffs first for this team?
Super Bowl.
Okay, Super Bowl is the goal. We can do that, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
All right, so let's do this. It's been a few days since the Browns game, but first, why don't we take some of the Twitter questions and get that knocked out?
Yeah, this kind of relates to the Browns game, so we figured we'd start with this question, and that can lead us into some discussion about the Browns game, since we haven't really done a podcast or given our thoughts on that yet. Okay, so the first question comes from Jake Shook. Thank you, Mr. Jake Shook. At Shook Shake Sham. I believe we've gotten questions from him before.
That sounds familiar. What's shaking?
He asks, and I think this, like I said, deals directly with the Browns game. He says, people seem to forget that this was a 3-win team less than 2 years ago.
Yes.
Do you agree with Malarkey's any win is a good win mantra?
Yes. Thank you, Shook. Look, I've got my own criticisms and beef with the team, especially after the Browns game and the lack of offense and the inconsistencies of the defense that we've seen this season. But as Jake just said, we are just 2 seasons removed from a 3-win, our 2-win seasons. Like I don't think we've reached the point yet in this turnaround, in this rebuild, that we can be like the Patriots or the Steelers or the Seahawks, where they can look at a 1-point victory and be like, oh man, that really stinks. What went wrong? What happened? I think we need to be happy with the victory. I know it's against a winless Cleveland Browns team, but in the past, this is a game that the Titans would have dropped, especially back in the years when we went, 9-7 and dropped a bad game to a bad team. But we came out, we laid an egg, but we didn't lay an egg and lose. We laid an egg and won. And I think that kind of speaks to where this team is at right now, given I do have my misgivings about, the performance itself. But, yeah, I think I'm more side with Malarkey here. I do think a win is a win. Any win is a good thing. But that's just my take. What do you say?
My wording, I need a pencil in my hand to take notes.
Gotta finish it.
Yeah.
I'll take this
my
battery.
wording is going to be maybe slightly redundant, but I think it's big here. I think a win in the NFL is good, but not every win is a good win. Does that make sense? I actually kind of had that, not debate.
I think I saw you tweeted that.
Yeah, on tweet.
Yes,
someone say that was a good
tweet.
win. I said, no, it doesn't have to be a good win. A win is good, but not every win is a good win. Does that make sense? That's kind of nitpicky, but that's what I feel like this was. I think you're exactly correct. If you look at the end of the season, if you fast forward to the end of the year and we make the playoffs, we'll make the Super Bowl. I don't know what's going to happen. This game will just be kind of forgotten about. It'll just You'll see it in the win-loss column as a W, which matters the most come the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
So beating the Browns, whether you beat them in overtime or whether you stomp them like the Texans did the game before, it doesn't matter. It goes as a win on the record. Now, I think it was an ugly win. I think there's a lot of things that the Titans can learn from this. I think it was great that we were able to have this game going into the bye week, because now that we can kind of work on areas we need to see, because there was a lot of stuff exposed against a bad Cleveland team.
Definitely.
But yeah, you cannot hate on the win itself, but I don't think people should see the win and just be like, oh yeah, it's a good win. Everyone played great. Let's move on and carry that momentum. This is a win where it's like, we were lucky to escape Cleveland with a W. There's still a lot we can learn. So
it was a wake-up call win.
Yeah, almost take the W, but then take everything else as like the learning experiences that need to happen from the game and the progression forward, almost view that as like a loss. Like if they had lost, how would you move forward and do it like that?
Yeah, it was almost, I guess you could say, like a win-win scenario for us, because we won the game, and also by winning the game, we found out we've got a lot of work to do to get better. Like if we had blown out this team on Sunday, then I don't know if there would be that much of a stress on, man, we need to get better. This team is not there yet, obviously. Got a lot of work to do, and I don't know if we would have that sense of urgency had we had blown out Cleveland.
Yeah, I kind of think it was kind of hitting a panic button. Maybe not from the coaching staff, but I know a lot of fans did when they saw us barely escape Cleveland with a win. They were kind of like, oh my gosh, this team is not good at all. But I also like this. Yeah, we were a 3-win team 2 years ago, and then a 2-win team the year before that. I like how the fans, the culture of the team is starting to hold the Titans to a higher standard, to where you don't just beat the Browns in overtime. You come against a Browns team with obviously more talent, a more talented roster than they have, and you want to stomp them. That's just kind of becoming the expectation for this team. So I like that the culture is changing. 2 years ago, we probably would have been not even having a podcast after we beat the Browns in overtime. We would be like, oh my gosh, we got another win on the year. Thank goodness, that makes it 3. Yeah. But now we're like, oh, this sucks because we got to improve. People are holding this team to higher expectations, which is a good thing. That's a step forward.
Yeah, they see that this team is rebuilt. It's come a long way since 2 years ago, and that we see the potential of this team. We've seen flashes of it. We've seen flashes of it this year. We just gotta make it more consistent.
So as a Titans fan, don't stop criticizing them. I mean, we hold them to higher standards. We want to see them perform, have expectations. I'd like to see Titans fans getting mad by barely beating a team, but also take into account that beating a team counts as a W, no matter what the score.
But at the same time, still be happy that we got the win and that it does register as a W in the win column, and that's the most important thing.
I mean, we mentioned it in the Browns preview episode that no matter, even though we kind of predicted lopsided games, that even if it ended up being close, which it was, and we got the win going into the bye week, that would put the Titans above 500 at 4-3, which probably many people would say was our toughest stretch of the year in terms of opponents. The first 5 games for sure. And that would be a win going into the bye week over 500 and tied for first in the AFC South.
Got excited about that. I like it. Yeah, I mean, obviously the position that we're in is fantastic. I don't know if, and it could be better. I mean, if you look at some of the games that we've played and lost, especially Miami, I think that Raiders game was winnable. We just couldn't finish drives, which has been a problem throughout the season. I'm sure we'll get to that. But the position that we're in is fantastic. We're tied for first in the AFC South. We'll still be tied for first after the bye week, even if Houston wins on Sunday.
And I saw a lot of people point this out on Twitter. Due to some bad refereeing against Miami, this team could easily be 5-2.
Yeah.
Now, I don't like to point to a few different plays or 1 or 2 situations in the game.
You are what your record is, man.
That's super hypothetical. You could go back from any team from any year and take away a few plays or switch a few calls, and their whole season could look different. I mean, think about Tom Brady's tuck rule back in the day. If that didn't happen, who knows what would happen to Tom Brady and the Patriots?
Yeah. Yeah, for real. I still can't believe that.
So we're a 4-3 team going into the bye week with a lot to improve on, and I think everyone, the coaching staff, the players, the fandom knows that this is not a good 4-3 team. In fact, I would probably go ahead and say that we're the least intimidating team above 500 in the NFL right now.
Because you saw last week, the Sunday before we played Cleveland, they got blown out by Houston. Houston made silly putty out of the Browns, and then you see that, and then the next week we barely squeak by them, but we technically have a better record than Houston. But Houston, spit a little bit, is by and far passing the eye test, looking more like the most formidable team. I don't know, Jacksonville's looking pretty formidable every now and then, but those teams are looking more intimidating than the Titans, just based on our performances that you've seen on the field.
I mean, sometimes the NFL is kind of similar to like March Madness in college basketball. Survive and advance. You do that enough, you make the playoffs. Who knows what could happen? Think about back to the 9-7 Giants in 2008. They squeaked out a playoff berth. They ended up beating the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl, which, by the way, the Titans had the exact same record as the Giants in regular season that year, 9-7. So win in advance, but don't let that stop you from trying to improve every game.
I see your point, and you're probably right. You might have gotten the year wrong, because 2008 was our 13-3 year.
Oh, what year did the
Giants 2007, I think.
Was that?
No, we were 10-6 that year. I've got these records.
I thought we had the same record as the Giants. I could have been completely wrong.
It might be 2011. 2011 we were 9-7, and they.
What was the year the Patriots were undefeated?
2007.
I don't know. All right,
I don't
whatever.
know.
My point's still slightly valid.
It's slightly, yes.
If I just left out the Titans out of that point, it would have been fine.
And look what the Preds did. All you got to do is make the playoffs, and then it's a whole new season.
Exactly.
And I do want to make one last point about Jake's question. If you look at our 1999 team, we lived by the ugly wins. We ugly winned ourselves all the way to a Super Bowl. And I'm sure if social media was around when the 99 Titans were playing their games, they would be blowing this team up like they are now for sure. These ugly wins. So take the win. It could have been prettier, obviously, but I mean we're 4-3. We got to bye a week to correct things and hopefully make some adjustments. So
yeah,
we'll move forward from 4-3. Put that behind us.
So what do you have anything else to say about the Browns game? About the game against the Browns? Anything major points to make?
Is this our segment on the Browns?
Well, I mean, that question was about the Browns game, obviously, because a lot of people were saying that win was not a good win. So it was an ugly win.
It was.
We needed all field goals from both teams. You would think that without Jason McCourty, Jabril Peppers, and that Browns secondary, which is already not very good, we would have been able to, score some points.
Yes.
And we did it.
We did, and the offense was disappointing. I mean, obviously, we didn't score a touchdown. Play calling is one of the hot button topics right now.
Beep,
we're seeing
beep, beep. That button is hot. Wow.
We're seeing, we're seeing.
It's on fire.
Tell me what your thoughts about shovel passes to Eric Weems. We just talk about that play and maybe the shovel pass plays that we've seen a lot of so far.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of shovel passes, a lot to Delaney Walker, but yeah, going to Eric Weems and shovel pass is a no-no.
Not in your playbook.
Not in my playbook. I will run that to any other player. I'll put it in the Dory Jackson, run it to him. I don't care.
Yeah,
it's not Eric Weems.
There's lots of other players I'd rather see run that play, and I'm not a huge fan. I mean, of the play to begin with. I mean, just looking at what the results they've yielded so far. I mean, we ran one to Eric Decker. It didn't even work. It wasn't there, so Mariota slid himself into a sack. He just kind of dropped down. We've run a couple to Delaney. Like, the biggest one got like 10 or 15 yards, which is fine. I just feel like we pushed that too much a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, as for the offense, the receivers didn't have a good game. They were dropping passes. I don't know why we waited until the fourth quarter to throw Eric Decker a pass. What do you think about his wife? His wife, Jesse James.
I saw her tweeting. I saw them tweeters that she was putting
on
up.
us, man. She was getting on there.
I cannot complain for Jesse James getting on me.
I don't think.
I'll take that any day of any year now.
Yes, precisely.
Open invite.
I mean, she wasn't wrong though. I mean, she was just very vocal about her criticisms. I don't know why we weren't including Eric Decker in the game plan whenever we saw what a difference he made in the Indianapolis game.
I mean, compared to the other tweets I saw about the Titans from lesser-known Twitter accounts, Jesse James Decker was actually pretty tame.
Oh yeah,
based on
I'm sure.
Calling.
I'm sure
so,
she.
I mean, she has a right. She's right, and that has been a hot button issue right now. Play calling kind of has been all year. Mr. Terry Robisky. I feel like you could click on the hashtag Fire Robisky and get thousands of tweets right now popping up, which I think just attributes to, I think, the main issue of the team so far through the first 7 games is the offense. The defense was already an issue last year, so people, I feel like, just have low expectations. Offense was kind of a surprising bright spot last year before Mariota got injured. I mean, we went through a stretch of over 5 games putting up over 30 points, which hadn't been done for a long time. I don't know about ever. But and so people coming in with some revamped offensive weapons this year was thinking that the offense would really take off, and it has almost like regressed completely. And a lot of people are blaming this on the play calling.
Yeah.
Which falls in Mr. Robisky's lap.
Yes.
And we've talked about it in plenty of podcasts. I mean, I think it's after every game, people are either blaming the play calling or like saying, yeah, it was decent enough to get the win, but the players really did the job.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Like, after 7 games, well, Mariota's only played in 6 games. So in 6 games that Mariota's played, he's thrown 4 touchdown passes. 4 touchdown passes in 6 games. It should be 5. He completely missed Delaney Walker in the end zone during the Browns game. But yeah, I do have my skepticisms about the play calling and how this offense is being run. We saw against Cleveland, we want to be a run-first team, but we played into the strength of their defense, and they were able to stifle the run pretty well. I mean, DeMarco Murray had, 3.3 yards a carry.
He was banged up.
Yeah, and he was banged up. And Henry ran for 13 yards on 13 carries, and Henry did not seem to be... He did not have his best game, and it wasn't just the play calling or the lack of offensive line push. He just seemed a little out of it in this game to me. He seemed like a step a little slow. I definitely saw him miss a cutback lane on one of his runs, and he just kept running to the outside.
And he actually, on that 4th and 1 play, he tripped over Ben Jones's foot, I think, or got caught on Ben Jones's foot, and ended up because the blocking was actually pretty good. You go back and watch that play from the angle behind the offensive line. He should have easily made that, and he kind of gets caught up behind the line.
I don't think DeMarco Murray would make that mistake.
No, but even DeMarco Murray looked hamstrung in the game against Cleveland. I mean, even on his longest run, he had a 13-yard run, he looked like he was jogging out there. I was like, that guy is not 100%. I don't even know why we're playing him in this game. I thought Derrick Henry could have handled the load.
I'm glad he did play in the game, though, because Derrick Henry wasn't playing well. How many times did he get stopped for a negative 5-yard rush? That should never happen on a running play. How do you lose 5 yards on a running play, much less do it multiple times? Yeah. How does that happen?
How does that happen with our... See, that's where it's how does that happen with our offensive line, the players we have, and the running backs we have? That has to be play calling?
I guess.
Question mark?
I specifically remember a pitch out to Henry, and there's just a guy waiting for him there. And, I mean, was the idea for Henry to expect him to make that guy miss? Because there was nobody out there to block him.
Now, I believe on one of those, Delaney Walker missed a block. That was pointed out to us. But even then... I just feel like a pitch play, Delaney Walker pulling to go make a block on the outside on a pitch play is not his strength. We got to call plays to our players' strength, which has always been a knock on the Titans for years. Could never figure out how to utilize Kendall Wright, Kenny Britt, Justin Hunter. The list could go on about how we don't really know how to get the most out of the players we draft.
Yeah. Now, I've seen this on other YouTube videos and social media suggest that, we need to maybe go away from being a run-first team a little bit. Maybe we need to change this identity and play more into what Mariota is great at. And we just need to have him drop back, be a pocket-passing Mariota. Even when he's 100% healthy, there's no need to use him like Colin Kaepernick was used in San Francisco with all the read option and him either giving it to the running back or taking off himself, which has worked a few times this season already. He does have, 3 rushing touchdowns
he does.
On the season, which is great, but Mariota can be a very, very effective pocket passer. We saw what he did against the Colts. I think this offense can very much succeed in with the talent and personnel that we are fielding. They can excel in just a spread offense, have 3 receivers out there, have Delaney Walker running a route, have 4 guys work in the middle of the field and let Mariota sit back and pick the open guy. I think Mariota can do that. That is what he's great at, and we rarely do that, I feel like.
We do. I really like the RPOs, though, built into the playbook. I mean, you look at a team like the Eagles. I think I saw on Monday night the Eagles might be one of the top 5 teams in the league that use run-pass options with Carson Wentz back there, not a known runner.
But Carson Wentz was back there still slinging the ball down the field, and I want to see that. Carson Wentz is being developed incredibly quickly and effectively, and I kind of want to see caliber. That. Yeah, and Mariota is as every bit as good and dynamic as Carson Wentz is.
True. And I mean, on those run pass options, I feel like Mariota rarely, I mean, I know it happens a few times a game when he's healthy, but still rarely keeps the ball himself. I feel like he keeps the ball himself just enough to make that play effective.
Yeah.
He doesn't keep it, too much or anything. So he just keeps it enough to keep the defense on their toes so those plays will continue to work.
Right.
And I think he's really great at those plays. I mean, he makes great reads on those plays. I just think something's off with the offense. And a lot of people, I mean, we talked about it before the year with Paul Kaharski, referencing our Paul Kaharski episode. If with the additions of Decker and Davis and any other weapons we got, if this team would start to see a little more 3 wide receiver sets as opposed to being the run heavy team that we were in the last year, especially on early downs. We said no, and we're still not that team, but we've been without Corey Davis. And so I'm going to pose to you the question that we posed to Paul Kaharski. When we get Corey Davis back after the bye week, do you think he's going to be the missing link that this team needs?
We still have to ask this question because he's been hurt.
I mean, there's apparent to everyone watching the team, there's something missing with the offense. I don't know if Corey Davis is the all-encompassing thing that is missing.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if I really don't envision there being like a plan B game plan for Corey Davis, and once he's on the field, Robisky's going to be like, all right, now we got all these set of great pass plays we're going to bring in now that we have Davis, and we're going to turn this into a passing juggernaut. I think we'll still have the same identity, but I think we will have plays drawn up for Corey Davis and feature him more. And if we don't, then we wasted a draft pick. But
no, I think we'll still be the same run first team too. I don't think the identity is going to change. I don't think the play calling is really going to change. But one player, especially a player potentially of the caliber that Davis is, can really stretch the field.
Oh yeah.
Think about if we get a few deep passes to Davis in the game, all of a sudden you get the safeties dropping back. The box looks way more open, and then we can run plays out of a little more spread formations, which is the one knock I would say from watching the team now is that I don't think our play calling's that predictable, but our formations, or what we do out of the formations, are predictable. Like out of we run too much in running formations and we pass too much in passing formations. We never really mix it up there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know you obviously want to run more in running formations and power formations, but at the same time, we don't
mix it up. Yeah. No, for sure. And I know there's been criticism of the predictability, but on what down we do what. Like, a lot of people want to see us pass the ball on first down for once and see what Mariota can do, which I'm totally fine with. We can switch it up that way.
I did, because I figured this would be brought up at some point, and I will give all due credit to Mr. Paul Kaharski and his research, because I think this is a valid fact. Because I, for one, just watching the games, feel like that's always true too.
He's on PaulKaharski.com here, folks.
Yes, go check it out, guys. MrPaulKaharski.com.
$100 a week.
You can read like the first 10 lines for free, and then if you want to read any more of an article, you got to pay a bunch of money, which is
like $100 a week.
Yeah, and then you can be his friend or something. I don't know. But he did do a good job here, because as just a fan watching the game, I felt like you come away from the games and be like, oh my God, the Titans always run it on first down. And he did some research on via ESPN.
Oh, is he about to shut me up?
To find out that the Titans have had 190 first down plays. 190 so far this year. 102 of those have been runs, and 88 of those first down plays have been passes.
All right.
Which equals a 54% to 46% run pass option, which I guess you're saying a 50-50 would be exactly
it's pretty much 50-50.
And unpredictable. I mean, 50-50 is like the most unpredictable you can get.
Well, that's surprising. I don't know why, but it just feels like we run on first down a whole lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was surprised by that stat too, which is why I wanted to make sure I mentioned it, which is why I have PaulKaharski.com pulled up.
Thanks, Paul.
That's what we can't do in Titans too, because we don't get paid. If you would pay us, maybe we could do that research on our own.
Yeah. Right.
And another stat, sorry, because I want to mention this too. This is huge. On 1st and 10, the Titans have run 90 times for an average of... Okay, on 1st and 10, I think, only, not just for all the first downs. But on 1st and 10, Titans have run 90 times for an average of 4.63 yards and passed for an average of 5.59 yards. So very similar, less than a yard difference. And that equates to... 51. Okay, so first down efficiency is graded by if you can get at least 4 yards on the 1st and 10, which the Titans do at least 51.8% of the time, which is good for the 6th highest number in the league. Sorry that took a while to get out.
No, that's good stats, though. So
yeah,
we are
very
efficient,
good stats.
and we're efficient on first down, and we're kind of unpredictable.
We're kind of unpredictable on first down, and we're efficient whether we run or pass the ball.
So basically, Titans fans, including myself, don't know what we're talking about when we're criticizing.
Well, I was going to say another thing that always sticks out to Titans fans is how bad we've been on third down.
Okay.
Which he brings up later. Titans ranked 27th in the league with a 34.8% conversion for third down, which has been a problem for the Titans for years.
Yes. Yes, the third down rates.
I
feel like I always look at the team stats, and our third down conversion percentage is just terrible.
Yeah, we've only had a few good games this year, which I think have been wins, obviously, where we actually do get over 50% third down conversion rate. Most of the time, it's really low. I think against, was it the Texans, where we were like 3 of 12?
Yeah, either that or Miami. Those are horrible offensive
One of those
games.
teams. Once again, I want to give that shout out to paulkaharski.com. He did all the research there. I don't want to steal his work.
Yeah, that's a lot. I don't know how much work he did, but that's a lot of work for free content.
Yeah, I guess he just looked it up on ESPN, but wish we could have done. But those are very good stats, especially what we're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. That is a little surprising to me, so I'm glad you did that.
You're welcome.
Pointed that out. There is one thing I thought of going back to Robisky, Malarkey, the coaching staff. I did read an article about this, and that the coordinators that Malarkey brought in, compare that with like the coordinators that different successful coaches have brought in. And I'm not saying that old geezers don't know what they're doing or what they're talking about, but Bill Belichick surrounded himself with a very young coaching staff.
McDaniels Patricia.
And Patricia look like they could be his children. Look at the Rams head coach, Sean.
Well, he looks like a baby anyway.
Is it Sean McVay?
Sean McVay, yeah.
Yeah, and he's got the Rams offense flying high. Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, he was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, who had the best offense in the league. And who does Malarkey bring in but like, how old? He's like 70-year-old Robisky and 110-year-old LeBeau to run a team, to run the offense and defense, and a league that has changed vastly from whenever they coached 30 years ago or played 60 years ago if you're LeBeau. So I just thought that was an interesting point that was brought up, and not saying that they can't keep up with the changing NFL, but we are playing an older style of football, and you see successful teams and teams that are turning the corner with young minds who have creative some creativity.
I mean, the game has changed. The game is changing every year. You see more passing. Mm-hmm. You see, more passing.
More passing and more passing.
No, it's funny that you should say that, because actually an article dropped today, which people are freaking out over, from actually Paul Gaharski's arch nemesis, Mr. Jason how do you say it?
LaCanfora,
about how the Titans pretty much need to ditch their coaching staff now, because there would be so many way overqualified head coaching and coordinator coaching position or people just like chomping at the bits to get to coach this team with the potential they have.
Yeah.
Just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah,
but that came out today, and I mean,
I feel like our team is very enticing for any coach out there that'd be like, man, I wish I could be the head coach of that team. Look at their talent. Look at Mariota. Who wouldn't want to coach up Mariota?
Mariota and the weapons they have. So I'm going to go back to my question though. Again, what do you think? Do you think the offense will be drastically different with Corey Davis?
I think it'll be better.
Or if he's not, what do you think needs to change in order to really get this offense into gear? Because if we keep playing like this, honestly, I don't think we're going to get to 500.
Yeah, well, we got to learn to finish drives. I can't understand why our red zone efficiency has dropped so fast and so drastically. We were like first in the NFL and red zone possessions converted into touchdowns. I'm sure we've got to be like bottom 30.
You know what? And
or 30th or below. That's what I meant.
Thank God once again for Ryan Suckup, because a lot of teams are really struggling with kicker issues. If we were struggling with kicker issues, we might be 0-7 at this point. But we're not. We have one of the best kickers in the league. Still, week by week, he's killing it. He's the reason we even scored in the Browns game. If we were even like any other team in the NFL dealing with kicker issues, we would have a terrible record. So thank you for...
Special teams are important.
Thank you, God, for Ryan Suckup, or Kansas City. Whoever gave us Ryan Suckup, thank you.
Both, maybe. Depends on what you believe in. So to answer your question, I think it will be better. It should be better. We definitely, once Corey Davis gets back, we should be better. Surely we are. Because he's the guy that can go deep better than anybody else. We've seen some Taywan Taylor going deep, and that's worked out.
But I feel like that's very schematic plays for Taywan Taylor to go deep. And he's not going to see the snap count that Corey Davis is.
Like that deep pass late in the game to Eric Decker when we finally threw him the ball for once. He was one-on-one with the cornerback or a safety, and it was kind of a 50-50 ball, and he wasn't able to come down with it. And he had a good opportunity to catch the ball. It was a really good throw by Mariota, but it was contested a little bit. I think that if that's Corey Davis right there, he makes that catch, and that's what we need him to do. He can flip the field like that, and he's got the run after the catch ability, probably better than any of our other receivers. So I think it will be better. I'm really looking forward to getting him on the field and seeing what kind of plays we have for him. Did you have another question? I think the offense will be better.
If you don't think he's the answer, what needs to change then as a scheme, I guess. If he comes back in the office that's still only putting up, field goals per game, then something else is different. Yeah. Something else needs to change.
I wish we would cut back on the gadgetry a little bit and just play football. I think we need to put the ball in Mariota's hands more. I think he's our best player. He's our best player on the team. And the running backs have been inconsistent. Henry's been inconsistent, and Murray has been injured. And so if that trend continues, then we need to center this offense around Mariota more. And I think he can handle it. Our pass protection has been
injured
fine.
As well.
Yeah. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, and I'm probably going to kick myself in the butt. But who would might actually be interested in coaching this team would be Ken Wisenhunt. He wanted to turn Mariota into a pocket-passing, pro-style quarterback. He just couldn't protect him and keep him healthy. Mariota was getting destroyed, and when we had a horrible offensive line. But I don't know. I thought about that. How Ken Wisenhunt, he may want to do things that this fan base actually wants to see in Mariota.
Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, fans are fickle for any team. You run too much and it doesn't work, and then you're like, pass more. You pass too much, it doesn't work. They're like, run more. If stuff isn't working, they want to see it fixed. Mm-hmm. That's the end of the sentence. End of the sentence. End of the day.
End of that question.
End of that question.
Do you want to move on? We've got through one question.
We covered some of the other questions here. So this one comes from KSC511. So she says, if you're a coach and every other team can predict your plays, then what do you do? It's very, very hypothetical. First of all, neither of us are coaches in the NFL, in case you had missed that.
Yeah.
I think you coached one game in the NFL last year.
I have. That was just a dream I had that I told you about.
Never mind.
Sorry.
What do? You execute better, which is also, I think, has been a knock on this offensive Titans team. We don't execute well. Like I said, even on that 4th and 1 play, if you go back and look at it, the execution wasn't there. I don't care if Derrick Henry kind of tripped on the guy. Good execution is where he doesn't trip on his own player and he makes it into the end zone, and then we're not even having this conversation.
Yeah, or Mariota puts a little more oomph on the ball to Delaney Walker, and that's a play executed, and we would have scored a touchdown.
Exactly. So. You go back to the Seattle game, where I think in our post-game podcast we applauded Terry Robisky for almost like a great game play calling. I mean,
especially in the second half, we were blowing them up.
Especially in the second half, we held on first in the first half, kind of set them up, and then on the second half, every play was like busting big, and not just like blown coverages or broken tackles. It was like well executed, well designed, well run plays.
That play to Jonnu Smith for the touchdown might have been the best executed play, or maybe the Murray run. The long Murray run, everybody hit their blocks, and then some. They went downfield and made more blocks.
If football's a game of inches, and that's not just like you get an inch, you get a first down. It's minimal little things here and there. A guy misses a block. A guy forgets to chip a guy as he's rolling out to the flat, and that changes the whole play, which then of course can change a whole drive, which can change a whole game.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a good answer. Better execution.
But yeah, so I would say every team to an extent has a level of predictability to him. If you're playing Tom Brady, you know what he's capable of. You can predict what he does. It's just that the Patriots are so well at executing, and once you start getting on a roll of executing plays well, then all of a sudden you're on your heels where you can be unpredictable. You can catch the defense off guard.
And they can do the little in-game tweak adjustments where they just change a little bit of thing. Instead of the wide receiver doing this, he does this or something, and then that changes the play, and they kill it. They find success like that, just making little tiny tweaks. So yeah, execution, better game tweaks and adjustments, I would say, and it's a pretty vanilla coach speak kind of answer.
Here's another question from I believe this is
what is it?
El Zombie Guapo.
Oh,
El Zombie Guapo.
Very
El Mariota.
Guapo.
He says Mariota has been quite injury prone. True. Should this be the time that we develop his pocket passing skills and give our wide receivers and tight ends a bigger role?
Yeah,
Now,
I wish we would do that.
I was going to say, I think one thing that Jesse James Decker was talking about was how the wide receivers, I believe, only had 7 catches or were thrown at 7 times in the game against the Browns, which was shocking because of how well they played against the Colts not even a week before.
Mm-hmm. They had their best game of the week to possibly the worst game, and they weren't even targeted, like you just said.
Yeah, they weren't even targeted. What's up with that?
I don't know. That wasn't the question. I don't know. What was the game plan? I don't know the game plan.
Well, I mean, that question's like, should this be the time we develop Marcus Mariota's passing skills? I think the coaches always want to develop his passing skills.
Yeah, before he got injured, it should have been that way. We said this last game, I think, that we think his hamstring injury could be a blessing in disguise because it would force him to play from the pocket, which is a strength. It would force the coaches to develop a game plan for him to sit there and throw the ball.
I mean, I don't think the coaches don't want to develop his pocket passing. I just think they want to make sure they're utilizing all the skills they have with Mariota back there. He has the capability of making great reads on run-pass options, whether that's a quarterback run, which he's very capable of doing, or a throw or a handoff. So I don't think they don't want to develop his pocket passing, but I think this is, like you said, it's kind of a blessing in disguise. Now we have a little more time where, he can work on this a little bit more. He can be more focused on that.
Yeah.
I think a big knock on our wide receivers, this is kind of back to the whole offensive problem, which is basically what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. That's what everyone is.
Which Corey Davis could change and I think it was a knock last year with our not very good wide receivers we had last year, was the separation they get from the defense, the cornerbacks they're getting. None of our guys really create that kind of separation. I mean, Rashard Matthews, Eric Decker, even Delaney Walker, guys who don't get a lot of separation. Yeah. And we don't really use Taywan Taylor that much.
I think we should use him more. He can get separation better than anyone else. He's the fastest receiver we have.
Yeah, but Corey Davis is a guy where his catch radius and his separation can be something that kind of sets this offense apart.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing with where if your receivers aren't getting a lot of separation, Marcus Mariota has to be extremely pinpoint accurate with his throws.
Yeah.
And he hasn't really been in his career. I mean, he's a young guy. You see a lot of inconsistencies from young guys, including accuracy. I mean, you'll see that even out of great ones like Carson Wentz, Jameis Winston, who's been knocked this year for throwing way too many interceptions.
Yep. Yeah. And I thought about this, talking about receivers creating separation, but how we're using them. Like Eric Decker, going back to that deep pass play we threw to him, that's not Eric Decker, at least not right now or anymore in his career. He probably was able to do that better earlier with the Broncos and the Jets, but this guy is a possession receiver. He can work the middle of the field. He can make catches in tight coverage. He can run crisp routes. If we're just sending him deep down the field for a deep pass play, that's not his strength, I don't think. I mean, we saw it in the Colts game. He was running across the middle. He was running outs to the sideline, getting the toe tap catches in. That's what he can do, and I wish we would not use him for those. And that's kind of what Rashard Matthews does too. Rashard Matthews can do a little bit of everything, I think, but going deep isn't really his forte anyway.
No. And no one, I would even say Taywan Taylor, that's not really his forte. Taywan reminds me a lot of Kendall Wright, more of like a slot kind of, and stay in the middle, find the gaps.
He's the gadgety player you need to be. Yeah, yes. We run sweeps to him. Maybe run some shovel passes to him, too.
Yeah, run a shovel pass to Taywan Taylor, not Eric Weems. Guys. And I honestly, Jesse James Decker nailed it on the head. Eric Decker should be more of a red zone threat. That's what he was with New York and Denver. And we talked about it in the fantasy episode. We said Decker should be the number one receiver. If you're going to pick a receiver from the Titans on your fantasy team, we think it should be Decker because he was that red zone threat.
Don't watch our fantasy episode because we look really bad
We blew it, but if the coaches had been listening to us, then it would have been a fire pick.
Yeah.
Would have been lit
on fire. He's on fire.
Yeah.
I just got an NBA Jam flashback.
No. Yeah. Anyways.
Agreed. What was the original question? Did we answer it?
It was about Marcus Mariota pocket
being injured.
passing.
You know what? He's not... Okay, he's been injured at least once every season. Last year, he didn't get injured until week 16. This year, he's only missed one game. And his rookie year, he was out for 2 games, and then he came back.
He got hurt
again. I think he was healthy enough to come back for the last 2 games of the season, but Malarkey, the interim at the time, purposefully decided just to keep him out because we were eliminated from the playoffs. There was no reason to play the franchise quarterback. So yes, he has been injured every year, but he still played 90% of the season in all of his seasons, I feel like. I don't know about the exact percentages.
I hate using injuries as an excuse because they are that, but think about how many great players and teams are affected by injuries and yet still overcome them. Obviously, if Tom Brady went down to the Patriots, that team changes, just like Aaron Rodgers going down for the Packers. And as we saw this year, if Mariota doesn't play for the Titans, we are a completely different team. We probably would have gotten pounded by the Browns if Matt Castle had been back there.
Mm-hmm. It would have been 9-0.
Which you want to throw in this question here from Cody Milholland. He said, would you rather sign a QB in free agency or the draft? Talking about a backup quarterback to Mariota, where that would come from. He throws out names like, I don't even know, I'll be honest, I haven't been paying attention to college football this year, but B. Mayfield, L. Falk, or like R. Ferguson.
The only one I know is B. Mayfield from Oklahoma, and he's like a pretty highly projected pick. I don't think we have a chance at him. He's going to go in a high round, and we should not take a quarterback in a high round to be the backup. If we're going to get a different backup quarterback, which I hope we do, because we need to move on from Matt Castle, we should sign one in free agency, or pick one in the 7th round and just try him out. But we don't need to waste a lot of draft capital on a backup quarterback.
We don't need to draft anyone above the 5th round, I would say, as a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
For the next few years. Find someone in free agency or get a late draft pick. I mean, Trevor Siemian with a 7th round draft pick.
Yeah.
We can get a guy like him as a backup.
Tom Brady was a 6th round draft pick. We just need to draft Tom Brady.
I mean, Trevor Siemian might be available as a backup next year. Yeah. You never know. I would be cool with him as backup, but that's just a question.
Either way, it's too hard to find a capable backup quarterback. The Patriots somehow did it with Garoppolo and Brissett. They potentially had 3 starting quarterbacks.
That's the Patriots, man.
On the team at one time.
Well, 3 started. They have all started games.
Yeah.
Garoppolo could get a bunch of teams right now and be starting right off the bat.
Yeah.
Just
we're seeing Brissett is right now, yeah. I think they're grooming Garoppolo to take over for Brady.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, backup quarterback, that's too hard to find a capable backup. Like Miami has a good one, and Matt Moore. I think Matt Moore is he did really well for him last year when Tannehill went down. Yeah. Now he's in there again because Cutler can't stay on his feet.
I mean, it's obviously a weak point of the Titans, but it's a weak point. It's almost like insurance, buying insurance. You buy insurance because you have to, but you hope that you never use it. Mm-hmm. Obviously, injuries happen a lot in the NFL, and the Titans' backup quarterback is a weak spot that we did not work on. We did not fix.
Yeah. I mean, but still, I think it's a weak spot on most teams. Finding a solid backup quarterback, I would be hard pressed to find 5 teams with solid backup quarterbacks.
Teams have a hard enough time finding a good starting quarterback, let alone a backup. Backups kind of are just there's some luck involved there, Yeah. Either through the draft or free agency, it doesn't matter. We need to find a better backup. But I hope we never even have to use him. So that's the period to that.
Unless he outplays Mariota in training camp somehow, and then he starts.
Okay. Let's go on. We've talked about the offense a lot. Do you want to talk about the defense? Because that has been a major issue with the team as well. I think we're getting better over the last few weeks.
We have improved since the Texans game.
But a major thing that is different from this year to last year is we only have 10 sacks on the year. 10 sacks.
Yes.
Through 7 games, we are ranked 30th in the NFL.
10 sacks, man. Jacksonville got that.
Yeah.
In one game.
People,
Twice.
Hey, we did not practice that line.
No.
But people want to criticize the secondary a lot. They want to criticize Logan Ryan and Dory Jackson and all those guys, even though they've had a few good games.
They have,
but
yeah.
If we're not getting any kind of pressure on the QB, then any QB is going to tear us up. If we can't get back there.
And we've gotten pressure every now and then, but we got to get the quarterback down. Like a sack play is tough to overcome on a drive. That loss of yardage is huge. And I think we've got to register the sacks, not just get the pressure, because getting pressure doesn't work against mobile quarterbacks and guys that can shuffle around in the pocket. But yes, pass rush is concerning. What is
and
the
pass
deal
rush is the thing that what's the word I'm looking for? Falls down to the rest of the defense from the top down.
It's a trickle down effect.
It's a trickle down effect. You don't get any kind of pressure on the QB, then obviously your secondary is not going to be able to cover the guy. No one can cover a guy for a long enough period of time, and any quarterback's going to find the opening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
agreed.
I believe it's a trickle down effect, one that we are suffering from.
And sometimes I think the coverage is good enough to where it should give the pass rush enough time to get there sometimes, but the quarterback's like standing there for 4 or 5 seconds, just kind of chilling, looking for the open guy, and it's taking our guys forever. Even when we send like 5 rushers, 6 rushers, everybody kind of gets picked up in the blocking scheme of the offense we're facing, and we don't get there in that way.
Yeah.
So what's like Eric Walden? Have not seen him. What
kind of been a disappointment signing. Brian Orakpo he
had a better game last week.
He had pretty much that
when Joe Thomas went down.
He also had that clinching sack to get the ball back in overtime with Derek Morgan,
yes.
which was huge. But overall, he's been vastly inconsistent this year as opposed to his great year last year.
Got a strip sack on Bortles in week 2. But other than that, haven't seen him show up much. Not as much as last year and the year before and other years he's been with us. Morgan does quietly have 4.5 sacks, which is good after 7 games. But they're quiet. You don't kind of notice them. And Casey only has like 1. So our main guys combined aren't getting the pressure that they were last year.
Yeah, and honestly, I am surprised at how well the secondary's played, looking at how poor our pass rush has been. I mean, I look at Corey Adore's first 7 games, and I think he's had some weak moments, but overall, I am very encouraged by how he's playing.
Yeah.
You look at guys like Kevin Byard, just came off a great game.
How can we not talk about Byard?
Byard, Kevin Byard, MTSU alum. Kevin, come on the show, Kevin Byard. Yeah, secondary's playing well. Logan Ryan, ever since we started putting him on legitimate receivers instead of putting him on like their 3rd-string guys, he's been playing well. So, which is surprising because the quarterbacks have all the time in the world back there to throw it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cornerback play has been getting better over the course of the season. Oh man, I keep going back to that Houston game. Man, when that kind of game happens, it's just there's always that in the back of your mind, no matter how well we play. Because man, we could not do anything to stop them at all.
Nope.
And really, it's. I don't know, I'm trying to think about other corners like LaShawn Sims. He's had some pass breakups. He's had some okay moments, but nothing big that has really stood out to me that he's made like a game-changing play or something off-the-charts play that he's done. Bryce McCain, I think we need to part ways with him in the offseason.
Probably.
I see him looking bad on the regular. But yeah, I'm pumped about Adoree Jackson and Logan Ryan. I think they're good cornerbacks. We just don't have enough of them.
We don't have enough. So defense, I just think the pass rush needs to improve.
Yeah.
Obviously, looking at the stats, that's an eyesore right there. 30th in the league, and then
30th in the league in sacks. Because what was it? Orakpo and Morgan combined for 20 sacks last year. Casey had 5 or 6. Maybe 7 added on. So like 25 sacks from those 3 guys last year. And this year they've got like 5 or 6 total.
Yeah.
With all of them.
Yeah.
So that's a little concerning. Hopefully we'll work on that in the bye week. Maybe LeBeau can come up with some more exotic blitz schemes. If that's going to be the way we get after the quarterback, maybe we can just confuse the crap out of the O-line.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I got a few more.
It's overall been good. The whole defense has been better.
I mean, they played well against the Browns, and I know
and
you're
against
going
the Colts.
Yeah,
so those are two offenses that aren't,
And I know you're going up against Deshaun Kite. Yeah, they're not, but you got to take it for what it's worth. Like a win is a win. Your defense plays well. They play well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Not gonna take credit away.
Not gonna take credit away. You're gonna take away Kevin Byard's 3 interceptions. No, you will not do that from him, sir.
Man, he's good. He's our best defensive player.
All right, got another question from basketball where the A is an at symbol.
Clever.
Basketball B at okay, I'm just gonna say at Jabin Shelton 24. He says, I guess this is the question. Johnny Smith's increasing role in BTW. Oh, by the way, tighten up. Wow, I'm showing my age.
I was like, these kids talking about? Man.
Johnny Smith's increasing role. Well, it's going to increase if Delaney Walker's injury is.
Yes, is he asking
serious.
About if he should get an increased role or if he is? He's been playing since week 1. Like on the field frequently. He leads our team in touchdown receptions with 2.
Oh, baby. All right. 2 out of Mariota's 4 touchdown passes have gone to Johnny Smith. Over 50%. 50% right there.
Yes. I like what I'm seeing out of Johnny Smith so far. I'm liking all of our draft picks, at least the ones that are playing.
I guess he's saying, do you think Johnny should have an increased role?
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed
to it. That would mean
to
Delaney
it.
has a
I think we got plenty
role.
of weapons. I think we got plenty of weapons. That's not necessary, but I think we could utilize them in a more increased role. I've been impressed with his pass catching. I have seen and read that he has struggled in the run blocking at times. He has had a few penalties called on him this year, which kind of stands out.
Yeah, that offensive pass interference against the Dolphins that negated the Delaney Walker touchdown.
That was such a
good
play. Why wasn't it up?
Ticky-tacky, stupid.
Man, I just got depressed, man. I didn't know you were going to do that to me. It's all good. But yeah, Johnny Smith, I've liked what I've seen out of him. He's still a young player. Hopefully he can correct those plays, avoid the penalties, get better in the blocking game. But yeah, I think if we want to increase his role in the passing game, I'm all for it. I think he looks good running after the catch too.
He does. I mean, I kind of think he's our Jimmy Garoppolo to Tom Brady. He's our He's our next Delaney Walker. Obviously, tight end has been a key role on the Titans team for a long time, dating back to the Frank Wycheck days. Oh, yeah. We throw to the tight ends. We run more 2 or 3 tight end sets than like any team in the league over those spans of years. So I think Johnny Smith fits right in there, and I think we'll see a lot of Mr. Jonnu in the end zone for years to come.
Amen. Preach.
Preach it, bro.
Preach from the Titans
All right,
Bible.
You want to move on?
Yes.
Got another question from Diego Freitas.
Diego.
I am assuming that is Spanish. Interesting question.
Fritos.
Don't know how to take it. You believe that one of the struggles of the do you believe that one of the struggles of the Titans is because they are still not ready to play as a great division favorite?
So like they're not ready to play.
I guess he's saying we're not used to having these expectations.
Yeah.
We don't have that mindset of a...
Yeah, we're always like the forgotten team that's, they're just out there having fun. They're just glad to participate.
Glad to participate in the game.
But no, things are expected of us
things are expected of us this year.
Are we playing some kind of Shadow the Talker game?
Yep. Nope. Done.
Okay. Well, you can take it because I don't know where I'm going with this. Because it could be something, I don't know where... Not in the players' heads.
I think this dates back all the way to like the first 5 minutes of this podcast, where we were talking about how the whole culture and the atmosphere around this Titans organization is changing to where fans are expecting now to blow out a bad team like the Browns. Mm-hmm. But we're still early in that development, so there's going to be some inconsistencies. So
we're learning how to win.
We're learning how to win. We're learning how to play as a favorite, as a team. Like, oh, you go to Cleveland and you're supposed to blow out this team. It doesn't happen that way. How do you deal with it? We're working on those things as players, as a coaching staff, as fans, as an organization. But it's improving. I think we're taking steps forward, and I think that's what you need to focus on.
Agreed. Yes. I don't really have that much to add. I think you nailed it.
Okay. Yeah. That just needs a quick little answer right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is different.
This is one thing I thought of. My mind's a little scattered. I apologize.
Mine too.
This is the bye week, man. We're taking the week off.
Yes.
Just like the Titans players. Back to the offense.
Can
If there is one thing I feel like that, if there was anything in the play calling that I think should change to improve on this game, it's the no huddle. We never use no huddle. Never this year. Outside of like 2 minutes or 4 minutes when we get the ball, I don't see us ever kind of trying to mix it up and go, oh, hey, this possession, let's come out, let's hit them with some no huddle, some hurry up, see if we can get the defense on their toes. Because I thought since Mariota was coming to
Okay, so the camera just completely shut off on us entirely. We thought we lost all of the recorded footage, but we didn't. But here we're going to continue this. Caleb, you said you're talking about this no-huddle offense with Mariota running the show.
Yeah, I was just saying if there's anything that needs to change with play calling, like if Corey Davis comes back and nothing happens, I think we should at least try running some more no-huddle. I'm not saying like every offensive possession, but mix it up. I mean, I feel like you come out in a normal possession and you start running hurry-up no-huddle, puts the defense on their toes.
Yeah. In the 2-minute drills, Mariota's great at that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we even huddling up in the 2-minute drills or doing no huddle? I can't remember. But yeah. I completely agree. Mariota is really good at the go and being in the moment and just going without, not saying that he like thinks too much or whatever when he's in the huddle and whatever, but he's very good just playing off his instincts.
Yeah, which, I mean, I think that's a knock a lot of people have against Malarkey and Robisky, that they don't let Mariota just loosen up and be himself.
Loosen up, bro.
Enough. And I don't know if he does that in the 2-minute drills to make him so good, but I know he's been good in those since he's come into the league. So I would like to see more of those just utilized here and there throughout the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Outside of the 2-minute drills.
Yeah, especially if there's a sequence in the game where we've punted like 3 straight times or we have a couple 3-and-outs in a row, try to switch it up and go no huddle. Yeah. Like if something's not working, like, how slow we start, or maybe since we do start so slow in all of these games that we've played, maybe come out of a game and go no huddle.
Yeah, and I think
what defense is going to expect that?
People think that when you go no huddle, it takes away from your run first, control the ball game. I don't think it does, and I think that goes back to our predictability. When we're talking about how we're predictable when we run the ball out of running formations. Yes, in going no huddle, you're probably going to be in a lot of more spread formations, but you can still run the ball, which I would like to see us do out of formations such as those.
Yes, I agree. For sure. And it's all about just establishing rhythm, too. If we don't have any rhythm when we're huddling up, trying to run the ball and control possession, try something else that'll get you rhythm.
Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme,
feel the
get
beat.
On up, it's bobsled time.
Dance
That's
to the
what
music.
someone said once.
That is a wise saying. I need that in paper. And writing. Just right on the table.
Got you right here. Okay, let's go. Final thoughts. What's up? Let's close this.
What's up?
Baby.
What about the future? The future of this season and this team? We are 4-3. We got 2 home games coming up against the AFC North. We host the Ravens and then the Bengals. I did want to say this. I think these are 2 hugely, hugely important games. I'm not going to call them must-wins, but if we can get these 2 home games, go to 6-3, and then the next week travel to Pittsburgh on Thursday night, I think winning these 2 home games against 2 teams that we are very capable of beating, that'll set us up to, I think we can make the playoffs if we reach that 6-3 mark. Because after that, we still have 2 home divisional games. We have to play San Francisco and I think another team, and the Cardinals as well. And maybe Carson Palmer and David Johnson might still be out.
And the Rams. Oh, wait, they're good this year.
Yeah, that's not a joke anymore.
Dang it.
So, yeah, I think these next 2 games are extremely important. And I'm looking forward to seeing some more Titans football, hopefully with a better offense.
I will be excited to see our defense against actual starting quarterbacks in the NFL. No, I'm just saying. Last time they played against Deshaun Watson, they got torn up.
Yeah.
And then we came out. We played Jacoby Brissett, who's like a 3rd string for the Patriots.
We played Jay Cutler first.
Yeah.
But he played like a 4th string quarterback in that game. That was awful.
Yeah, we have not been playing top tier QBs and have still been struggling. Our defense have been playing pretty well, but.
We did beat Russell Wilson. That's a very good quarterback to win against.
So maybe my point's invalid, but just feel recently people have been applauding the secondary going to get up against likes of like Jacoby Brissett, Deshaun Kaiser, Cody Kessler. Mm-hmm. I want to see him against
elite quarterbacks like Joe Flacco. Yes.
You're funny because he sucks. But no, he still won the Super Bowl. And Andy Dalton, guys that have their struggles for sure, but they're very capable of leading their teams and picking apart young, inconsistent defenses, especially if there's no kind of pass rush.
True. Yeah.
And don't even talk to me about them receivers the Bengals got.
Bengals, not even the AJ Greens, man.
So, yeah.
So cool. Yeah, exciting stuff. We're in great position, 4-3. Houston travels to Seattle, so we're gonna be Seattle fans on Sunday. Titans fans, we got to root against the Texans. Hopefully they lose that game, and I like our positioning.
Honestly, I feel like every team says this, but the bye week came at a perfect time.
Yeah, it did.
Because not only after our last game to the Browns, which we won, which is good, but with all the injuries, and not just the minor injuries we've been dealing with, hamstring tweaks, it's just a good time to get everyone just a little bit more healthy before we just finish out the year and finish the year 13-3.
And correct me if I'm wrong. just finish out 13-3.
13-3.
Easy.
Win out.
Easier done than said. And when I'm thinking about last year, it's almost kind of similar how we had that Bears game before the bye week, correct? And we barely squeaked by the Bears. Parrish Cox gets cut. We're looking like we're starting to regress, but we get the bye week, and after the bye week, we come out and get back-to-back wins against the Broncos and the Chiefs, two very strong teams in the AFC. Well, the Broncos were pretty strong last year. They finished 9-7. But, we looked fresh. We looked good coming out of the bye week last year. So hopefully we'll see something similar. Barely getting by the Browns, a weak team, and then we'll come out and take it to the Ravens.
Just like we barely got by the Bears.
Isn't that what I said?
We said we barely got by the Browns, but...
No, I did. I'm saying that this year we barely got by the Browns.
Yeah, but just like last year, we barely got by the Bears.
Yes. Yes.
There's barely and Bear. Okay.
Barely Bear Brown Bears.
Okay, this has been going on too long.
We're getting delusional.
We are. Let's wrap it up. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for watching. We'd love to hear your takes. What do you think about the offense? What needs to change? Or do you think Corey Davis is that missing link that's going to happen when we get him back? You think he's going to fix all the offensive problems? Or do you think it's going to take a change at the offensive coordinator position or head coach?
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure. Do we need to send Jalston Fowler out on more deep go routes? Maybe he can get some separation.
I mean, yes. Maybe. I don't know. What happened to utilizing Taylor Lewan in the past game? He was 1-for-1 last year with a touchdown.
He already had a touchdown at this point last year.
Yeah.
We bring in Dennis Kelly all the time as a third eligible receiver.
Like, I would bet
he's not receiving crap as far as I can tell.
I would bet all the money I have that we haven't thrown to Taylor Lewan once this year.
You would win that bet.
And better. Throw to him more.
Yes.
Okay.
He's got the hands.
That's it.
Okay.
Tighten up. Enjoy the bye week, guys. Obviously, there will be no preview episode or stuff like that because there's no games to play.
Are we doing picks?
We'll do picks.
There's still going to be games on Sunday.
There will still be picks. We're still doing Madden Challenge.
What? We're just going to play the bye week?
We'll play the Sunday night game. What's the Monday night game? Let's go. Me v. you.
All right. Is it a good
Chiefs
matchup?
and Broncos.
Okay.
See what we got. Okay, anyways. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching what he said. Follow us on Twitter and stuff. Mostly stuff.
Stuff.
Bye.